literally over here Google. I feel disgusting.
Please do not Google this entire episode. Please, we would rather have you better this
Fine,
way. Please don't
fine.
Google anything.
Special news bulletin from our partners in Twisted World.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled program for a special news bulletin from Twisted World.
I'm going to bed after this. That's all I know. This is a late one, gentlemen.
It's a late one.
Hey, well, we didn't. How'd you guys' Halloween's end up?
That was good.
What'd you guys do?
New area, so wasn't sure quite what to do, but we ended up doing the trunk or treat here, and I enjoyed it. I was hoping to go. Well, okay. I was hoping to go trick or treat. So I guess in the area that we live, kind of similar to like Vacaville where we lived before, there was like a one street area that was like locked down. They put the barriers on the side of the road, and everybody kind of goes. It was Hawk Drive, right, in Vacaville. But out here, there's one street that goes like the whole length of the city, and they block it off of both ends, and it is like legit. So we never made it over there, but mainly because we were told that it closed at like 8:30, and I'm like, well, that kind of sucks. Only
The
to find
street
out,
closes at 8:30.
yeah, somebody told us that someone that goes to the church told us that the street closed, or they stopped doing that at like 8:30. And I was like, oh, that's kind of lame. So by the time we were done at the church with the trunk or treat, it was kind of like over. Only to find out that like one of our neighbors was pulling up and parked when we decided to go trick or treating in our own neighborhood, which ended up being fine. But our neighbor's like, oh, dude, it goes until like 11. And so I'm like, well, next year we'll have to go check it out. But apparently it's like the place to be in this.
Are all those houses done in that area? What, that your area is the place to be? Or this
No,
particular
they're
ones?
not done. We just have one strip. No, the place to be is not in my area. It's over downtown, kind of like where the parade was.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, no, I mean, so anyways, that was we had some fun. I remember we've talked about this before. We let my kids decide what I wear every year. Well, this year they decided that the whole family was going to wear the same thing, so we all dressed up as skeletons.
It was great.
Yeah, we all dressed up as skeletons. I
was bummed it wasn't a ranch bottle though.
Listen, stop.
Who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't be bummed?
I was super bummed. I mean, I was waiting, kind of like I thought it was like Christmas Day. I was like, man, this is gonna be exciting. I hope he wears it. And they just didn't.
One of these years, my kids will wise up on the idea, I'm sure, and I'm gonna end up wearing it, just because. No, I can't do it. I even saying it, I feel sick saying it. I don't know. I can't. I'm not gonna dress up like ranch. That's like.
Well, I mean, you do have a birthday coming
up. It's like funding. Stop. Stop.
That's a great idea, actually. I should write this down.
No, I take payment in the form of magic cards. As does Cody.
Well, I mean, the magic cards can come wrapped in ranch dressing costume. Cody, what did you dress up?
We should get him ranch sleeves to put on his deck.
Dude, you guys suck.
Bro.
It'll be like Hidden Valley, like on the back of all his cards.
Okay, on a side note, you could totally make custom cards online.
Oh yeah, you can.
Just stop. That would be the biggest waste of money ever, is to buy ranch. I'm sure somebody's already done it.
Oh yeah, they're out there.
That's the. Why would you do that?
You know,
for the memes.
For the memes.
Maybe people like ranch a lot.
At your LGS.
Oh, you're ridiculous.
You show up to a tournament, you break out Hidden Valley Ranch.
No, it's okay. So first, you break out your backpack, which has a bunch of Hidden Valley Ranch stickers on it, right? You've already got their attention. Right. You pull out a Hidden Valley Ranch bottle, but oh wait, it's a deck box. You open it up, and out comes your cards, all in green sleeves with the Hidden Valley logo all over them. They're astonished. They're amazed. And you play a white-green deck.
Oh my! Well, wouldn't it be white, green, blue, right? Because it got the Hidden Valley logo on it.
Maybe
right?
Maybe a hint of blue.
A splash of blue.
I forget what that's
and
called.
Every time you play the cards, someone gags.
It sounds like it sounds like Andy's like in on this. He's loving it. He loves the idea.
This is his erotic fiction that I'm describing.
Absolutely disgusting. Disgusting. I'm gonna play all red. Be a ketchup theme.
Gross.
Oh god.
Best condiment.
So Cody, did you do anything for Halloween?
My Halloween was like so. First of all, like it was funny. My mother-in-law, like, she was like, we were like talking about Halloween and everything, um, we're like, oh yeah, we'll get some candy and everything, and like out of the blue, my mother-in-law was like, no, I've sworn off Halloween. It's bad. And I'm like, what?
Is she being serious?
I don't know. It was kind of like on the edge of like, it was like she was like memeing to where like she could go back and be like, oh yeah, just kidding, it's a joke. But
JK,
then also
JK.
like,
But she kind of held it.
that also kind of she held it. You know what I mean? Like where you're like, and then we were all really confused, and we were like, so, my wife was like, Mom, we always went trick or treating. You've never like had an issue with that. She's like, no, it's Satan. Satan's birthday. It's satanic. And we're all like, what?
She's moving hard.
I was like,
She's
what?
moving hard.
No. I don't know that. I don't know that to be true. I really don't. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, no. And we were, and I was like, we went trick or treating like all the time. You never had this like weird stance. She's like, no, I'm not buying it. I'm serious, Sarah. I'm not buying candy. And she didn't. She really didn't. We had to go out and buy the candy. We went and bought the candy, and we set it up, and then like she was like refusing to participate, and then all of a sudden like a little kid like dressed up as like, you know, a fairy princess walks up to the door and trick or treats, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, here's some candy, you know. And then like she pops out of nowhere. She's like, oh, that was so cute, you know, all kids are so great on Halloween.
He pops out of nowhere, just like.
And then
Bling!
I'm like, wait, I thought this was satanic. This is horrible. You can't enjoy this. You're not allowed to enjoy this. You said it was terrible. It's awful.
Did you actually say this to her, or was that just thoughts in your head?
No. We said that to her. We memed her, and then she kind of was like, I don't know what happened after that. It was just funny.
All right.
If listening to Susan, I really don't know if you're memeing. I mean, maybe you were. I really don't know. But yeah.
Listen, this is the last year you get to sit on the porch and hand out candy for a while. Now you get to participate.
Yeah,
that's right.
So here's an idea. You wear a Cooper Cup jersey next year, and you dress up your son as a football.
That'd be cool.
And then maybe your wife can be a referee.
Oh,
pending he's still with the Rams. I mean, you never know in this league.
I really hope he doesn't go nowhere.
He won't. Are you kidding me? Come on. They'd be foolish. They'd be foolish to give him up.
They would be foolish. That'd be silly.
Best player on that team. Hands down.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But
they might as well give him the football and have him throw it to himself.
He probably could do that. That's probably a realistic expectation.
He just bombs it and then takes off.
Yeah. Chucks it super hard.
So, let's get into. So we're talking about Halloween, of course. We finished up our Halloween month. That was fun. You know, but
and we got sick last week, and we were
everybody had the bubonic plague. But Cody and I came up with. It's kind of a two-part topic. They kind of go hand in hand, but they definitely at the same time have their own pieces. They have their own backstories. You
didn't tell me about this.
I did. You just forget because I called and I had asked you, "Hey, how much do you know about this?"
That's probably
you're like, "Oh yeah, I know a lot about that." And I said, "Oh, it'll go great with the first topic we talked about, right?"
That sounds like me.
No.
They've left.
Once
me
I
out
said,
of it,
once
people.
Andy has no idea. Once
about.
I bring it up, Cody, you'll remember. So, you know, in the finishing off of the spirit of the Halloween, we're gonna talk about dressing up, in a sense. So our two topics for all of our listeners out there that are excited about this. I know they are. I know Andy's super jazzed.
I feel
he's
like
jazzed.
I know
he's
where
jazzed.
this is going.
He's jazzed. He's ready to
and
rock.
I'm already cringing inside.
He can't wait. Our first topic, Cody, drop it on him. What's our first?
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know when you're referring.
No, you don't know what the second is.
You
know
were
what the
going to
first
say
is.
it, and I would remember. I don't know what you're talking about.
What do you
should have rehearsed this? We should have pre-episodes. I missed the old Twisted World. We had pre-episodes. We talked about it.
No. We're good. You don't remember any of it?
I remember some of it, but I don't know where you're wanting to go with it.
I know where. I'll say that's the second
episode.
piece.
I'm freaking out. Kidding.
Listen, we're going the furry way.
Why?
Oh, that's right. Yes. Okay, I remember it.
And then the other one.
But why?
Wait. And it gets better. And then the other one that goes hand in hand with furries is Bronies.
Oh, you already know. Brony down, baby.
Because it's such a
It's such a great phenomenon.
it's an enigma. These two things are enigmatic. They really are. Like when you
We should
start
have done
digging
this
into
earlier.
them, and
I don't have the patience for this. Bronies? Literally over here Google. I feel disgusting.
Please do not Google this entire episode. Please, we would rather have you in the dark. It's better this
Fine,
way. Please
fine,
don't
fine.
Google anything.
I feel I don't want to know what a brony is. It
Well.
scares me.
what? Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. So
I'm sure it's not what I think it is.
it's just,
I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
Well-
What do you think it is?
I don't think it's PG to talk about what I think it is. But I don't know. I mean, it's clearly bros, right? But I
Right.
don't get the knees part. The only thing I can think of would be like, I don't know, ponies. But I don't and then okay, I guess that makes sense why it would correlate with furries, but I don't
Furries.
understand why you would call them bronies in the first place.
Oh,
So
we don't call them that. They call themselves that.
They call themselves that.
So
I did not make this up.
I'm
This is a
probably
real
way
thing.
off. I'm probably way off on the concept.
This
but
is a this-
I don't
this
know, man.
is-
It comes up as a gay thing to me.
both of
to
these
say-
have
No, they're actually extremely straight. They're just into horses.
very
but-
straight.
Oh, so
Particular kind,
I am in the right lane.
well, a particular kind of horse.
Well, I said pony, so I assume it's ponies.
a specific kind of pony.
Kind of. You're almost there. You're pretty
almost there.
warm, but I wouldn't
Okay.
say you're white hot. You know.
Yeah, you've got that.
I'm-
But these both are a subculture that are studied heavily in sociology. Like that's how
Stop.
enigmatic. No, I'm being dead serious.
This is what's
science
wrong
right
with the world is that people spend time looking into this crap. Like the people's parents should have smacked them and go, "Stop, bronies is not a thing."
But it's fun.
Cody.
This is why we have these
Cody.
episodes. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
look
our
at
definition of
everyone
fun is different. I know you enjoy talking about this thing. All it reminds me of is that society is dying slowly, and some would say painfully. These are the type of people that like drive around with masks on in the car, and people tell them you shouldn't wear masks in the car, you'll suffocate yourself. And I'm over here going, maybe we shouldn't tell them to take the mask off. Maybe we should just let them work it out on their own.
Natural selection.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking District 9, we throw them in a camp, but you know, then we start
Yeah,
getting into
Hitler
weird
style.
territories. There it goes. Okay, like here's the problem. What are we gonna talk about for 45 minutes about furries and bronies? I'm already disgusted at the concept of talking about this.
We can start by breaking them down.
Why?
Yes. Yes, Cody, I'll let you break down furries, and then I'll break down bronies.
Wonderful. Although I feel I'm a topic on the other, I feel like I'm an expert on the other one. However, I will gladly take furries because I think they're both fun. So here's the deal, right? So think of this as a what's that? It's a Venn diagram. Would you
Yeah.
say? Right. Okay. So bronies are in the middle of this Venn diagram, right? And that's the core, right? And then there's the outer core is furryism, right? Okay, so it's like people who are like into like not necessarily attracted to the animals, right? That not just straight up bestiality. That's just not right, not quite there, but they're they're playing around with it. They're like, oh, this is cool. I like
okay.
humanoid things.
Maybe I'm wrong, but is it,
Sure.
furries isn't just a sexual thing, right? It's like an identity thing. Correct?
It can be. That's what I mean. Is it's not really like it's not quite a sexual thing. It's not bestiality. Not quite there yet. As we go further into the circle, you'll find that things kind of snowball in that direction. But yeah, it does start out as more of an identity thing. Like I'm a wolf. I like to be a wolf. But then if you're a wolf, you have to be attracted to wolves, and it kind of, you know what I mean? It kind of just we get there. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I don't want to know what you mean. Okay.
I mean,
yeah.
you follow.
Sure.
You follow, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So you have normal people, then you have people who think they're something else, like a girl when they're a boy, or a boy when they're a girl, and then you go further in the circle. Then you have people who think they're animals, and then you go further in, think they're objects. We're in that little area where people think they're animals. Okay, so we're going to go deeper into that little area, and then we have certain subsects. We have people who think they're wolves, people who think they're cats, people who think that they're whatever, and then there's people who think they're ponies or they're horses, and those can be categorized as bronies, but bronies is typically another type of thing, and I'm sure Aaron will get into that.
Mhm.
But then you have then deeper into those subsects, you have people who like to draw, like they're artists. They love to draw humanoid animals doing normal things. They write sketches. It's just normal stuff. It's nothing sexual yet. And then you have the people who are wearing the costumes and the going to the thing and the pretending to be the thing that they claim.
Are we talking like a cosplay thing, or this more a little like
kind of
cosplay but never leaving it, like
living
it out?
I think
Some of them do.
Some of them do,
Some do, yeah.
Most are aware that they're putting on a costume, right?
Like they're LARPing essentially. Okay.
Yeah. Most are aware, but there are those select few who really get into it and they're like, no, I am this entirely different, identity, and they are, a wolf.
So there's a set of the furries known as other kin.
Other kin.
And Therans. Therans are other kin who identify with, in whole or part, an actually existing species that live or have lived on Earth. Wolves are the most common, so they don't see themselves as human. So.
But they talk.
Yes, they're talking wolves.
Okay.
But I think a lot of them also, when they're in their mindset, they're in their environment, so to speak, they act out their animal, right? That's at least what I've read in some of my understanding. So they're full blown taking on the role.
This is so dumb.
Yeah, no. So
this is so dumb.
For sure. And then inside, and
it's important that we talk about this because we mentioned furries a lot. So it's
how
okay.
is it important? It's not important. People, I'm sure people got the clue just from the crumbs that we were dropping in every episode for the last 7 episodes.
It's important to me and Aaron because we really want our viewers to, when we say, like when we toss out a furry reference, we don't want them to just disregard it as some jibber jabber. We want them to really know.
It's some made up word. We didn't make this up.
No, we didn't make it up. It's an actual internet reference that refers to something terrible, and we want to really know what this is, right?
I mean, we've had some rough episodes, but we started this off talking about ranch, and now our ending in furries and bronies, and I am incredibly uncomfortable.
This is my ideal episode. Anyway, so as we go deeper into that subsect, then we start finding. Are you guys familiar with Rule 34? I won't.
No.
You don't need to be very
Can't
vocal.
Google it.
You shouldn't. So anyway, so Rule 34 is well, it's if you didn't know, there's a subset of internet rules. Rule 34 happens to be the rule that states if it exists, there's porn of it. End quote. And so there are these people inside this subsect who then go on these different websites, and they'll do the Rule 34 thing where they make their images and their videos of their subset to which they claim of this furry thing, and they'll post all sort of those things, and that's really that's the deepest really you go.
That's the dark.
That's the really dark, deep hole that it really hits the wall. That's the tail end, if you will, no pun intended, of of that hole. So I mean, that's kind of really the core. Like we can zoom out and we can see how normal people would get to that point, but that's just so if that gives you any idea of how they got there and what's going on, I hope that helped.
The help too. I'm not sure.
So there's
I don't know that normal people is what I would describe on how a normal person would get there. Maybe in my level of understanding.
You have to
Start out as the normal path that I don't know that I agree with that. There is something broken in someone to even start and move from normal into that phase. So I don't know that you actually were ever really normal.
No, well, I mean, so.
And I'm talking mental health. I'm not talking like you were born a wolf and now you've identified and you found out.
No, but I mean, like,
wait.
People are born normal for the most part, right? Unless they're actually mentally retarded, right? I mean, we can agree on that. Right?
Yes, but I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Is mental retardation on a gradient scale? Because I'm sorry, someone dressing up like a wolf and identifying as a wolf, even to the point where they now are dealing in porn and wolf. Like I would say that we're close to.
But somebody born with a mental challenge, a physiological issue where they have challenges mentally or whatever the case may be, is one thing. These are quote unquote, as researchers and psychiatrists have stated, a disorder. Very much different, right? And so
still a mental health issue, though.
But here's the question. Here's the funny thing. So it's even got a coined phrase. So much like when women that believe they're men and things like that, the whole trans world, it got labeled under the psychiatrists and researchers as gender identity disorder. This has now been
dysphoria.
This has now been classified as species identity disorder. So I mean, it's
right,
a real
but
disorder
both are
that's being
classified
studied
as a mental disorder. That's where I'm going. Is that there is something either? Okay, I will take a step back to say that someone can be born without a mental disorder and develop one. So into that argument, yes, some of these individuals could have been normal, and maybe a circumstance or something happened in their life that caused them to have a mental whatever.
Maybe they got bit by their dog and they woke up the next day feeling like they're a wolf. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're all degenerates, right? I mean, that's just that's what we're getting at, right? They're just degenerates.
Yeah,
that wraps it all up in a nice bow. Just label them. They're anybody who falls from the normal. If you fall from normal,
that's the point.
You're a degenerate.
We don't need to label these things below furries. Like, I think furries is good. Why in the world were we creating separate sects? Like, why are we calling these things bronies? Is it a bunch of dudes acting fools? Like, I don't understand the concept of why we would create these other, like, it's not a denomination underneath the furryism as it is.
Well, kind of is, right? Because like they're a little bit different, right? I mean, like they are identifying as an animal, but it's interesting because they're identifying as different animals. They're like, oh yeah, I'm a cat instead of everybody, all the subsects.
But you're not going to. I mean, am I wrong? Like we're picking bronies out for a reason. So there's something that I'm still missing. But
the bronies anomaly is special and for a very special reason.
Yes.
So that's why my question is you're not saying like there's no like wolfies or catties or in like
no. We'll get bronies? Because we'll get to bronies in a second, and that's
okay.
The reason bronies, because when we were talking about furries, we've talked about furries. We brought it up many times, and Cody and I just agreed that we thought we would educate our listeners, and in turn, we know you'd be excited about it. So here we are talking about.
Most of them have turned it off by this point.
No,
I
think
they turned it up. Yeah. In fact, I think they've really honed in here.
Yes.
And they're really excited to hear. I think we're blowing them away now.
I'm a little worried about our listener base. If that's the case.
I've been worried about them from day one, but I'm really into it now. So
I mean, they have gotten used to mediocre. I mean, we're pretty mediocre. At least I am. I do my best to try and show up every week, but what do you do? I can't get on board with. I don't know. It feels wrong to talk about it. It feels like it's wrong in the sense that is it giving it power? Like, okay, we always made jokes. I always make a joke, right? Because my name's Andrew, right? So I always make the joke that I'm no longer Andrew. I'm a robot. I identify as a robot, and from this day forward, I would like to be known as Android, right? That's silly, but the reality is there are people out there that are like that, and I feel like I don't need to know any more about those people. It doesn't make me unempathetic to their situation. I just don't need to know about it.
But it's strange, mysterious, enigmatic, and
you may be right. Listen,
so,
when I signed up for this thing, I did sign up to talk about things. There are just some things that I'm not, Listen.
Are you triggered? Do you need a safe space to talk about these kind of things?
No, I mean all that.
We wouldn't want to sound like a degenerate here, right?
But okay, they are degenerates, right?
And yes, I agree with you. That's good stuff.
Gross.
So apparently Joe Rogan, by the way, funny thing, acknowledged spreading misinformation after he suggested that elementary schools were installing litter boxes for students who identified as furries.
That's funny. That's funny. The reality is it's hysterical, and I wish it were true, because I think not because it needs to happen, but because that's how retarded everybody has gotten. And I use that term not to insult anyone, but I literally use that term because in order for people to legit, and I understand he's making a joke, but we have gotten so preposterous in the way that we handle or do things or get offended by things that is, you cannot tell me that there is not a path in the way that the world works today where that isn't a reality at some point. We're already taking male and female bathrooms away.
Well,
I understand it's not quite the same thing, but if somebody identifies as a cat, are you now going to allow them to identify as a cat? I mean, telling a man or allowing a man to say he's a woman, you're already kind of playing that game. So if somebody comes and says they're a cat and they need a litter box, like I can see the logical path. Not that it makes logical sense, but I can already see the path of a school district or an ISD or a school district in unified school district in California or whatever, putting litter boxes in the bathroom because they have 5 students that identify as cats. It hurts me to think like this.
I can't wait.
Oh my! Like,
I want to read this excerpt. Really, really fast.
I can't wait to watch that on the news.
Oh my god! It's like
I can't wait to watch this on the news.
It hurts me. It hurts inside to think that there are. I don't know who's worse: the actual people that believe themselves to be cats, or those that enable them. Because the reality is, like, there are people out there that are fighting for furries to have rights or whatever you want to call them that aren't even furries themselves. So I'm cringing. Go ahead, Aaron.
I just want to read this part of this article. It says Rogan, the Colorado Congressman Lauren Boebert, and the Minnesota Republican candidate Scott Jensen all swore they had heard stories of schools across the U.S. changing their bathroom policies to accommodate wannabe felines. But an NBC News investigation determined this was untrue. The furries in the kindergarten myth was repeated by at least 20 candidates and officials this year. The report found, but none of the school districts mentioned actually offered litter boxes for the student use. Though officials in Colorado's Jefferson County School District said in 2017 they did keep a litter box in closets as an emergency go bucket in the event that a student needs to relieve themselves while in emergency lockdown.
You never know. And that's the moral of the story. You just never know. Am I right? Or am I right?
Am I right? Oh man, so furries.
This is the longest episode.
This is what? This is
we're
great.
Like we're like 28 minutes in, and I'm like,
By the way, I have to admit, also WebMD has a whole thing on furries. So it starts off. Furries are people who have an interest in anthropomorphic animals.
They're already
or
wrong.
Animals with human qualities.
So they're already wrong.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I agree with them, but at the same time, a furry is not it's not a person. They don't identify as a person.
There's some legit studies going on here. Rogan talked about it. You got the news talking about it.
We just don't need to be.
I'm just saying.
Studying this crap is okay. All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Let's go to Bronies. So Bronies, though different from furries, okay, we've talked about furries have this belief that they're animals, so they dress like animals, act like animals, and stuff like this. Bronies don't necessarily believe they are a pony. These are men, adult. I guess there's women too, but it started off specifically with men. Adult men who have this extreme fascination with the show My Little Pony.
Stop it. That's not real.
Very real.
Stop it.
It's more real than you can imagine.
So now that we've told you, we want you to Google it. Google it real quick while we're talking about
Google it. Like, okay, so funny. As soon as you said the words, I vaguely remember. I don't know if you ever used the Bronies word, but I remember you telling me that you had watched the entire show, Cody.
Yes.
When you were younger.
This is true.
Was it because of this brony wave?
Yep. It's because I wanted to see what the hype was about. I'm like, all right, let's see it.
Before I Google, was the hype real?
What does that mean?
Well, I mean,
did I stick around?
Did you stick around? Did you watch the whole thing?
I mean,
do you have your own theories about how the show was going or where it was going?
It's like it's.
I mean, you were a young man, right? I mean, you're already young, but I mean, you were younger. I would assume teenager.
Yeah, and it was like in the thick of it, right? It was where it was. The reason why Brony got so popular is on 4chan, people, the Bronies at the time would go on 4chan and they would spam all of the threads with pony stuff, you know, and people were like banning people left and right, but they couldn't get them to stop. And like then like there was things, there was a meme that went around that said mods are asleep post ponies, and then like during the night, like at 4 a.m., like the whole thing would be taken over by like pony posts. Like it doesn't matter what you click on, everything's ponies. You wake up in the morning, everything is covered in just MLP garbage, right? And so like.
For everybody listening, MLP is My Little Pony. Just
right, yeah.
That out there, yeah.
There's actually a documentary.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to tell you.
No, this thing's big. This thing's really
Huge.
big. That's the thing, I was
bro.
sick of it.
Brony Con?
No, yes. Okay, listen, we'll get there.
We should crash it. We should crash it.
They don't have them anymore. But anyway, so this was it was in the thick of it, and it was all over like YouTube. There was people that I were following were talking about it, and I was like, what is going on with the world? And so I was like, you know what, it's time to do some investigating. It's on Netflix, let's see what it's got, right? You just throw it on there. Actually no, I had to look it up on YouTube, but the episodes are on YouTube, so you on there, look at the first couple episodes. It doesn't really have like any consistency as far as story. It doesn't really carry over much. Nothing really happens. It's kind of like a SpongeBob SquarePants thing. Is probably the best way I can describe it. A new story starts and another thing happens. The characters for the most part remain the same, but I mean like nothing out of the ordinary was very striking about it. It was just a children's TV show that was I don't know.
I've seen quite a few episodes. I have 3 girls, so I've watched my fair share of My Little Pony.
It kicked off of movies. It kicked off of a special set of the
Friendship is Magic remixed, right?
Yes, the 2010, the reboot of My Little Pony.
Yeah. So the timelines are right. I would have seen those with my kids. I can't say that I remember much of anything other than maybe a couple of their names, but I don't see the infatuation with it. Like. It looks like the popularity was between 2012 and 2015 with this fad.
2019 was the last BronyCon. So, right before COVID kicked off.
Yep.
I don't get it.
So did you get a chance to Google some pictures? Oh, that's important.
Yes, the pictures. I actually am afraid to click on the dude with the pony ears. Why are so like?
So this site says, what do bronies do? Bronies are known for their creative work. Art, music, animation, and fan fiction are just a few things bronies create based around their favorite characters or original characters which they create themselves. There is so much brony created content that much of it actually rivals the show itself. There's fan-made episodes, high-quality animations, mini crossovers, artists and crafts, a rich brony music scene, and much more. And that much more, also some very dark stuff that we don't recommend anybody searches for. As Cody puts, much like the furries, there's that whole genre there as well.
Okay, so I think if you want to do animation, I think picking this genre as an animation thing is kind of weird. But if you want to make animation for animation's sake, and this is the genre you like, so be it. But dressing up like ponies and decorating your room like ponies as a grown man, like, what is wrong with you?
And that's just it. A grown man. I mean, that's why it's called bronies, right? Because they're bros and it's ponies, and you mixed it and you got it right off the gate. But specifically,
bronies before honies. I'm sorry, I can't with the internet.
See what happened? You were pulled in. You were pulled in by a meme, a pun. You were pulled
I'm not even past the first page. Oh, I went to Reddit and it was a mistake. I'm I mean, it's not 4chan. I won't click on a 4chan link. I'm old enough to remember 4chan. It's not a place you want to be seen. But I clicked on a Reddit link and it was a mistake. It was a mistake.
Yeah. Now you're flagged on the government side of things.
Gosh.
There's
I mean, they have like a wiki page of their own. Like, what is brony.com? Like, stop it. This is a community fan who simply aren't afraid to admit that they enjoy this colorful, fun show. They should be. They should be afraid. They should be embarrassed.
Bring
Look at
back
this.
bullying.
There's bring back bullying. There's an article that Wired did, kind of near the beginning of this big explosion of My Little Pony dudes, and it says, it's subtitled. It says, each day, out of work computer programmer Luke Allen self-medicates by watching animated ponies have magical adventures. The 32-year-old who lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico, loves his daily fix of My Little Pony friendship is magic, and he's not alone. He's part of a growing group of Bronies, men who are fans of the show.
Nice.
And then it shows a picture of him with the little My Little Pony dolls up on the shelf. So here's a 32-year-old man chilling by himself, out of work, and this is how he medicates and fixes himself, apparently.
Oh. Ugh.
He's quoted as saying, "First, we can't believe." Oh, they say this. First, we can't believe the show is so good that we can't believe we became. Oh no, he did say that. Excuse me. I apologize. Let me take that back. First, we can't believe the show is so good that we can't believe we became fans for life. Then we can't believe we're walking down the pink aisle at Toys R Us or asking for the girls' toys out of the Happy Meal. Allen said in an email to Wired.com. Then we can't believe our friends haven't seen it yet. Then we can't believe they're becoming Bronies too. Now, we could definitely be classified as nerds in our own new way, but this says every nerd has a favorite TV show they watch religiously and know inside and out. Okay, well, I mean, everybody does, right?
Right.
But My Little Pony seems like an unlikely object of fanboy love. Since the show debuted last fall on cable, so this was must have been a year after, channel Hub TV, it attracted growing numbers of male fanatics. Now, this is where it just gets weird. Like,
no,
why,
it's fetish.
Why?
This is a fetish thing. It's not, and I don't say fetish like in a sexual vein. I know that that's usually where the word is tied to. What I'm saying is this is mentality where like one or two guys probably have a weird thing about this, and they're going out of their way to like something like this because it's outside the norm and weird, and other men can be attracted to something like that. I'm trying my best to try to explain what I would think that how this would happen. Like, don't get me wrong, right? I am old enough to remember, like, Pokemon was one of my favorite games. I played Zelda, I played all kinds of video games, but I was like 12 or 13 when Pokemon came out on Game Boy, and I don't remember, like, I played a lot of games, but I don't remember no-lifing a game so hard like I did Red and Blue when they first came out. Like, I remember specifically being told that if I didn't put it down that my Game Boy would be broken in half. Like, I played that game so much. So when the TV show came out, like, which wasn't much longer, like, I had to be home by 3:00. Like, you asked my mom today, right? She knew that Pokemon came out at a certain time because we had to be home to watch the episode every day to find out who the mystery Pokemon was, right? And I remember that show. And I'll be honest with you, I remember being like a certain age where I'm kind of like, I can't watch this show, I'm too old, only to have kids so that I could watch some of those shows again, right? Does it make me weird? Maybe a little bit, but I've got kids, so it's kind of excused away because I've got children and they watch it too. Now, I don't watch stuff on my own if my children aren't around. Right? Like, so none of my kids are into Pokemon. So I'm like, well, there goes that idea. And there's a dozen shows of Pokemon. And I like I still play the games. I love the games, right? But I don't know, man. Dressing up and doing the whole thing, like, it just doesn't feel
Homie chills in his basement or wherever he's doing it by himself, was watching full-blown episodes of this cartoon. I mean, like I said, I don't have a problem with childlike behavior, especially when you got kids. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna try to connect with them. I'm the same way. Like, I'd be down to sit and watch a cartoon movie. We just, or a kid family movie all day, any day with the kids, 100%. But like, I just can't connect
But like
with
going
this
to
point
the
of view.
store, going down the pink aisle and buying, unless okay, again, here's another scenario that you guys actually probably don't know much about, but I can tell you. When I was even younger, when I lived with my mom, and I mentioned my mom earlier, that's my stepmom, but when I lived with my mom, I remember we would go to like the flea market and I collect trolls, like the 1980s trolls, like the old school ones, not the front ones from the new like movies, but like the old ones, right? Which in most cases, if I think about it now, would probably be very girly, right? Most girly, but I loved them. I thought they were great. The little dudes with hair, right? And so I had all kinds of different colors of them, right? Sure, they're dolls, right? But I mean, at some point I grew out of that. The point is, these are grown men going into these things, going down like you would never catch me going down an aisle and buying a pony with a unicorn hat unless I was buying it for my daughter or one of my nieces. Never.
Yeah.
Like and like
super awkward.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, and I'm trying to compare it to something that I myself like. Stop it. Stop it! Oh, Aaron's got like a secret closet filled with ponies. Oh, if you ever call me a brony, I will cut you out of my life. Like you're like my brony. I'm be like, listen, it's been real. I'm glad.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna show up to your house like 5 days before Halloween next year with 2 costumes, one of a ranch dressing and one of a My Little Pony, right in front of the girls, and be like, which one should Daddy wear?
Listen. Stop. Listen, if my girls ask me to dress up like a unicorn, I dress up like a unicorn. But now that I know that bronies are a thing, I would have a real hard time. I would have a real hard time dressing up like a unicorn or a pony or any of that stuff because I don't want people to get the wrong impression.
Oh yeah, they're definitely gonna get the wrong impression. That's for dang right.
Yeah, I know.
I'm scared because I mean these are bad. They're not that bad, but I don't want to drill down anymore. I'm sure there's, but to that same degree, there are people that like to watch other shows. I don't know, man. Like, I'm trying to justify it, but I can't.
Yes.
I can't seem to justify the idea of it. I think there's nothing wrong with.
Well, they try to compare it to like anime and cosplay. Okay, keeping in mind that anime, though it is cartoon. Right, it's not live action. It has an adult feel to it. So
anime is driven towards a teenager, older audience. Like it's meant to be as close to live action without being live action. It's art.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. And so it's just funny because like you read a lot of these articles and all these people chime in. They're like, well, you go to Comic-Con and cosplay and all this stuff, and anime is highly seen there, and that's okay, but this isn't. Like, no, this is not okay at all. This is a little kid show.
Again, intent behind the show, right? My Little Ponies is an intentional show, and okay, so maybe you got a bunch of sisters and you watch the show as a little boy, as a brother, watching the show, and you like the show. So be it. At some point, you grow out of it just like they would too. I have no problems with people growing up watching the show, having like a nostalgia feeling for it, right? What I find odd is someone in like their 20s or 30s, because and maybe older, walking in and be like, "Oh, dude, I've never seen anything like this. This has changed my life." Bull crap. I've watched enough episodes to know, like, SpongeBob is leaps and bounds better than, because at least SpongeBob it doesn't really have a theme, but it generally has like a story to every episode, and I guess maybe My Little Pony does too, but I don't know that I would compare My Little Pony to SpongeBob. I understand you compared it because you're just trying to give a comparison to where there's no real like linear story that carries over through the entire show, with the exception of maybe like Plankton try to take Crab's recipe, right?
But even then, SpongeBob's kind of walks that same line like The Simpsons always did, right? Where like little kids can watch it and enjoy it.
Well, I don't know. Little kids should be watching SpongeBob or you're talking about SpongeBob. I was not Simpsons. No.
Oh.
Simpsons is an adult show. Simpsons is a teenager adult show. That, in my mind, it's not quite as Rick and Morty. I would say it's probably more like a Ren and Stimpy kind of, like where, I
watched Ren and Stimpy as a kid.
I did too. Probably shouldn't have, but I did. I mean, yeah, like I wouldn't classify that as a little kid show. My Little Pony is a little kids show,
Yeah.
right? It's yeah. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to think of grown men being into something like this much.
Yeah.
But I'm
So-
not weirded out when I watch a video on YouTube of some guy that's got like a card store and all his stuff behind him, and he's got all these Pokemon plushies. That doesn't freak me out at all, right? Intentionally, because he probably grew up on it, right? And so he's got the nostalgia there, and he's turned it into a business, which is a high functioning business. That's different. These dudes are literally spending all their money to make
Be
their
My Little Ponies.
I will say this: I'm less weirded out by bronies than I am furries. I don't know why that is. Like, if I had to compare the two, I would say furries freak me out a little bit more than bronies.
Cody, did you catch that?
Yeah, it sounds like he's like, you know,
He's
I'm not okay
embracing
with
it.
either.
He's
I'm
embracing
just
it.
saying,
he's comfortable with them. You know?
no. What I'm saying is I can see not to say that it's normal, but I can see a pathway to where some dude can be like, dude, My Little Ponies is sick, and it not be as like demented as, I don't know, dude. I'm trying. I can't. I'm done with this episode. I'm really trying to give it some life, but neither of them should happen in public.
Absolutely. But
Ever.
they are a very strange mystery, and they have happened. Furries continue to happen. It sounds like the Bronies have died down. Like I said, last convention was 2019.
Yeah, until a new movie
And-
comes out. Watch.
Yeah, and then they just reboot it, right? So anyway, yes, Bronies and Furries, the enigma that it is. Strange, peculiar, mysterious. So if you had to choose, Cody, to dress as a furry or a brony, which one would you go with?
Don't answer that question.
No, you have to answer it. Answer it.
No, you do not have to answer that question. Please don't.
I don't know. I think that I would probably be a brony. You know, just
Probably because he's actually committed more time to it than anything else.
Yes.
I think I'd be more comfortable with it because I'd know what I'm doing. Right, number one, I know the fandom. I know the people.
I know the people.
It's not a sexual thing. With furries, it might be a sexual thing.
They're not also identifying as a pony, correct? They're just people that are infatuated with My Little Pony.
There are some sects of people that do, in fact, identify as ponies.
Well, wouldn't that in turn make them a furry?
Listen, I just wanted to hold on, Cody.
No, anyone who dresses up as a pony is a furry. So, just so you know.
So, real quick, while you're dressed as this brony, would you gallop?
Yeah. I under certain circumstances, yeah, I would gallop.
All right, Andy, let's hear it, bro.
No. I would nope. No. This is not a normal pathway that would ever listen. I have a hard time holding my wife's purse. Yeah, there's no way I'm dressing up in some no. Stop. No.
Oh,
No.
well, I'm curious, man. If our listeners chime in, they want to shoot us a message, and they were forced to make a choice, and they had to be a furry or a brony, what they would be, and if they were a furry, which animal in the animal kingdom would they be? I want to know that. I'm curious.
I really hope nobody
Very curious.
comments.
I do.
It's
I
gonna
hope-
make
I hope
me
we get
look
a
at
lot.
some of these guys.
Hope we
And
get
I'll
a
be
lot.
like, well, it's been real. It's been real. I may never leave my house again.
Anyways, well, let's wrap it up.
You could not defeat them in a fight. Is that why you don't want to leave your house? You're scared.
No.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so I'm having a moment. You know, like when you watch like Futurama, and the doctor's like standing there, and I don't remember the episode, but he like looks and he goes, "I don't think I want to live on this planet anymore."
Yes.
Yeah.
It's that moment. I'm having that moment, and I'm having it constantly because we remind people constantly on our episodes of this type of stuff. But I mean, I'm at work. This type of conversation comes up way too much. Like it's just way like.
So this is gonna be a good one at work for you.
I don't tell them about this at work. We
Well,
don't.
hopefully they listen. Andy's bosses and employees, fellow employees, if you guys are listening,
No.
let Andy know what furry or My Little Pony you would be. Let him know. It's okay. He'll embrace
If
it.
anyone
He'll
comes up
embrace
to
it.
me, I'm done. I'm done.
He'll embrace it. He'll embrace it.
right.
Anyways, Twisted World fan, we love you. Brony Power, we're out.
Peace out.
Go Bronies.